This is one of my favorite episodes of the entire series. Like, definitely top 5, almost certainly top 3. I'm just gonna come right out and say that right off the top because this episode deserves it. Hi, I'm Torin, and welcome to Torin Loves the Simpsons. Today we're looking at Season 2, Episode 19, Lisa's Substitute. An episode where Lisa has a substitute teacher, Mr. Bergstrom, who actually knows how to nurture her intellect and who actually cares enough to put in the effort. And his positive presence in her life highlights how big of a negative influence Homer is, leading to a confrontation and reconciliation between Homer and Lisa, following a deeply moving goodbye between Lisa and Mr. Bergstrom. Meanwhile, Bart runs for class president and, despite overwhelming popularity, loses the election because nobody bothered to vote for him. Let's dive on in. This is not a humor-driven episode. Despite that, this episode is funnier than a good portion of humor-driven episodes. I'm particularly impressed that they managed to fit a solid joke in the middle of a deeply emotional moment when Lisa remarks that Mr. Bergstrom is the best teacher she'll ever have, and though he initially tries to deny it, he accepts and agrees with the praise at the slightest pushback. That's but one of the major accomplishments of this episode's humor, that it fits so seamlessly with the plot, no matter where the plot is going. Stylistically, we're moving in a more fast-paced direction, which is really interesting when juxtaposed against scenes at the end that pretty consistently have me bawling my f***ing eyes out. But we have some nice quick punches slipped into the middle of dialogue, such as the "Are you sure I'm Jewish?", the "What about Ray Bradbury?", and the psychosomatic exchanges, all of which get solid laughs out of me. We also get some excellent visual jokes in the signs Bart puts up to promote his campaign. I particularly love the irony of Bart ganking the "A vote for Bart is a vote for anarchy" line from Martin, then his supporters taking the most diehard anarchist stance possible and not participating in a representative electoral system. And to take a brief moment to address a common misconception, anarchy doesn't mean chaos or lawlessness. It means a society without a structured government or social hierarchy, where decisions are made on a local level by popular vote, or at least that's a simplified version of it. I'm not necessarily an anarchist myself, but I thought I'd try to help clear up the confusion. I believe this is the first example of Homer's brain talking to him, a running gag throughout much of the show, and this is a worthy introduction for that gag. We get a nice montage for Bart's campaign, a joke format the show uses for plenty of future episodes, and it's put to good use here. And these are all features characteristic of Golden Era humor stylings. While not the only episode in the season to do so, this episode clearly stood as a roadmap for future seasons to emulate, as the show continued to develop its style throughout the show's first decade at least. This isn't the funniest episode around. It's in fact beaten in that regard by the previous episode, but it doesn't need to be the funniest, because, again, this is not a humor-driven episode. And let's explore what I'm talking about right after I rate this humor. This might be just a little bit generous, but I'm giving it an S-. So as for the plot, this episode is a masterpiece. 100% through and through. Mr. Bergstrom is perfect. Like, cartoonishly so, but it's done so well that I don't care that he's a fictional character specifically designed to be perfect. He reminds me of a teacher I had in college, so I really do believe that, exceptional though he is, Mr. Bergstrom is realistic. And that teacher I had in college died unexpectedly early on in my third semester of taking classes with him, and that certainly makes this storyline resonate with me a lot more powerfully than it would otherwise. But I'm still gonna let those biases influence my rating, because this is my review after all. But seriously, Mr. Bergstrom is perfect. He encourages creativity and nurtures talent. He knows how to get kids' attention, and he not only rolls with the punches when kids make fun of him, he laughs along with them. He's willing to show his vulnerabilities and cry along with the children at a sad story. He tells Lisa, without a shred of doubt in his voice, that her life will take her places the rest of us have only heard about. He tries to level with and reason with Homer. F***ing you are Lisa Simpson? Every moment of every scene, he's exactly what he needs to be to best nurture the children. Everybody has a talent, I want to see yours, is something I think every kid needs to hear. And in obvious contrast to Mr. Bergstrom, this episode really plays up Homer's worst qualities, at least by early season standards. And it's super important to making the plot so impactful. Obviously, the just because I don't care doesn't mean I don't understand is the most blatantly important moment. But the lead up, especially the entire museum scene, is critical to setting things up for the ending, which demonstrates his best qualities. On the one hand, he's self-centered and rude, and those are real problems that are by no means truly compensated for by what I'm about to say next. But on the other hand, when he finally understands how badly he's f***ing up, thanks to Marge, the real MVP in this story, as she often is, he truly steps up to the plate and makes an effort to be there for his kids, reluctant though he may be. He's an asshole, but he does love his family, and with him becoming basically the main focus of the series moving forward, the complexities of his character are food for tons of future plot points. Even as an ardent critic of Homer's scumbaggery, I have a hard time writing Homer off as a bad person. Mr. Bergstrom was a guest voice, performed by Sam Eddick, and by that I mean he was voiced by Dustin Hoffman, who wasn't sure if he wanted his career to be associated with a cartoon because this was still season 2 of the very first cartoon show ever that wasn't specifically oriented towards children. At least, that is according to an unsourced claim on Wikipedia. And his voice work is absolutely critical to how well the plot plays. Mr. Bergstrom just would not be the same character if he were voiced by any of the regular cast, who are all excellent voice actors in their own right, although on the DVD commentary, Yardley Smith credits working with Hoffman as having prompted her to grow as an actress. So not only did the character of Mr. Bergstrom nurture the growth of the children on the show, the respective voice actor of Sam Eddick, Dustin Hoffman, nurtured the growth of at least one of the actors he worked with on the episode. And that's pretty neat. This is underpinned by the B-plot, one of the first few in series history, of Bart running for class president. It provides a nice, frivolous balancing point against the gravity of Lisa's potential being squandered. Bart doesn't really care about being class president. He just likes getting attention, and he gets plenty of it throughout his campaign. It's a vessel for some nice jokes, and it helps give some variety to the plot while still staying at the school, which allows it to intermingle with the main plot a little bit. I don't think there's really anything more to say. This isn't a complicated plot, even with a B-plot, but it does an amount that's truly impressive regardless of complexity. I knew this plot was gonna be an S+, from the moment this YouTube channel was first a gleam in my eye. It is quite probably my #1 best plot of the entire series, and the B-plot gets an A+, borderline S-. Because, while not particularly groundbreaking on its own, the B-plot does an excellent job of supporting the main plot. And now for the final rating. S+, straight up. Even though the final rating is often just a mathematical average of the humor and plot, it doesn't have to be. And this episode is an example of something greater than the sum of its parts. But honestly, with a plot as strong as this one, it'd still probably be S+ overall, even with significantly weaker humor. I may have kind of dragged episode writer John Vitti through the mud last season, but that's just because Homer's night out was so utterly lifeless. And this episode fully redeems him for that transgression and then some. I would be willing to review a full 2 more Homer's Nights Out for a masterpiece like this. And as a final aside, VT has explained via Twitter that he intended for the "You are Lisa Simpson" note to have an exclamation point at the end. It apparently haunts him to this day, as of 8 years ago at least, that got overlooked. I personally much prefer it without the exclamation point, because I think the exclamation point would have added a sense of levity that wouldn't be appropriate to the scene. The lack of exclamation point feels a lot more serious, and I think that's exactly what Lisa needs and wants, to be treated as a serious person. So, John, if you're watching this, I hope that helps you find some peace with the oversight. As a creator myself, I can attest that sometimes the meaning or the detail you didn't intend turns out to be just right. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy this episode as much as I do, and I hope you enjoyed my review. If you did, please consider clicking that like button and subscribing to the channel. Up next, we have The War of the Simpsons, so I will see you in that video.